One thing I learned as a collector is that no matter how much you think you know, this hobby tends to surprise you. Every single day there's something new to learn, and that's something a little weird. Something as simple as watches, you would think that it's relatively straightforward. You would think that you would know everything within a week. But after 8 years of collecting, I'm still learning every single day something new.
So right now we're about to watch a watch review on the Lange Söhne 1815 rose gold watch. This is actually probably my grail watch right now. So yeah, let's dive into it.
You see, like many of you, I used to hear that the Swiss made the best watches in the world. In fact, I used to hear that Rolex made the best watches. And if
I look at that amazing like finish on it, like etched in French lines, multiple jewels on display for the display case back, open display, and then you have like all of the fired blued screws that they actually like fire by hand in order to create that look. Really beautiful watch.
you still think that, well, you've got a lot to learn. What I have in front of me is from a little city in Germany called Glasuta. And that is a brand called Lange Söhne, specifically the 1815. Welcome everyone, AB here with Watch Collector Try Productions. In today's episode, I'm going to be doing a full review of the Lange Söhne 1815 in rose gold 40mm. Now this is a grail piece for many, and it is as well for me. And it's one of the best executed dress watches I've ever experienced. So today I'm excited to share with you this piece. However, I first wanted to introduce today's sponsor and the official partner of Watch Collecting Strategy, Ticking Way. When considering your first grail piece, it's important to find someone you can trust, but also someone who's equally as enthusiastic about the product as you are. Ticking Way carries one of the largest collections of Lange Söhne in the United States.
Good to know. I've seen this watch before too, but yeah, no, I'll definitely have to take a look at their site too to see kind of like what their availability is. This is a really nice watch.
The company also
Did I say that already? It's a really good watch.
carries some of the rarest pieces from brands such as FP Journe, Greubel Forsey, and many more. Check out Ticking Way when you're considering your next grail piece, or book a call to consult about your next purchase. The name 1815 refers to the birth year of founder Mr. Ferdinand Adolf Lange. Mr. Ferdinand founded Lange in a little city called Glasuta, the horological capital of Germany, back in 1845.
See, like this type of watch, even though it's not necessarily vintage, it harkens back to those styles, and with it having that type of design aesthetic to it, they don't have those faux classic elements that you see in a lot of modern watches that try to look more like they're an older vintage watch. That being said though, I mean, they don't do that to the best of my knowledge, but this brand though, they have everything that's good about watches from the past and everything that's good about the watch technology and how it's been innovated since then. And all of these, like, they just hit like a really good classical note. I mean, it's like seeing a film of like, you know, a movie that's like cinematic and has like all of these like you know, classic type of inspiration to it, like whether it be like a great cinematic film that is some sort of like medieval, you know, battle royale. You know, it has like those types of like Roman numeral elements to it. Yeah, I think I was getting off track there, but essentially more like probably 1800s films, but they still have like really good designs, and you can see like even kind of like how the seconds hands and the hour hand on it too, for all of their watches are very much like old world inspired.
The original Lange Söhne was nationalized and ceased to exist in 1948, following the occupation of the Soviet Union after World War II.
And this right here looks kind of like those Western revolvers, like with the etched in design, like really, really cool. And then the way that they build these too, they're so masterfully done. Some of their watches I know are like extremely accurate timepieces from Lange Söhne. And they also incorporate a lot of different elements too. I mean, this is just like one design aesthetic. And I believe, yeah, this one's manually wound, of course, too. You know, some of their other watches, those ones are gonna be like, you know, with all kinds of more interesting mechanisms within them. One of them even has like a bell chime. Sorry, going off on a tangent because I really do love this brand, but yeah, no, this is my go-to one for the hopeful near future. But this is okay. I'll let it play some more.
The brand resurfaced when Mr. Lange revived the brand back in the 1990s. Since then, although the brand has only been around for almost 2 decades, they've already established themselves as one of the best watchmakers in the world. Don't take my word for it, just ask the legendary watchmaker himself, Mr. Philippe Dufour. Mr. Dufour will confirm that ever since the brand resurfaced, brands like Patek and Vacheron still strong.
That guy, okay, this photo, it looks like he just like sits there all day and just like literally conjures up these images of watches in his mind. Like the fact that this is like got this one designer smoking out of a tobacco pipe, right? Just piercing his gaze over his work desk. Like this is just like the watch. Like this has got to be the watch from a Lange Söhne. You know, it has that like really cool pilot type of design to it, and then that small seconds hand too that just makes it look extremely elegant, and it kind of like draws the eye in. And yeah, this is it. This is the watch. This is nice.
Struggle to compete in terms of watchmaking. Since the inception of the datograph in the 1990s, the Swiss still haven't been able to create something that competes with the legendary datograph, the caliber 951.1. Lange got so bored of waiting that in 2015 they decided to remind the Swiss to innovate by coming out with a double split chronograph. Still waiting for a response, they thought, why not create a datograph with, well, you guessed it, a triple split chronograph. Quite frankly, Lange is just gonna start splitting atoms before the Swiss decide to respond. Oh well, more on that later. If you do want to learn more about the datograph, we will have a full article review and a video in the future, so make sure you stay tuned and check out tickingway.com if you want to read that article. Back to the 1815. What we have in front of us is the 1815.
See, like this photo right here, perfect example. There are a lot of watches that have more of a classic watch design to them, and they already compete against expensive models that are like 10 times the cost. And this one being like an expensive watch but with a classical design, it just outperforms almost everything out there. There's just something about putting on a watch that's like old school. Like this one's nice. This kind of reminds me of the Calatravas by some other brands such as Jaeger-LeCoultre. There's another one too. There's a Calatrava from Patek Philippe as well. You know, I kind of like Jaeger's a little bit more, even though I do like a lot of the Patek Philippe watches more than Jaeger-LeCoultre's watches. But this has kind of like a similar look to it. But yet it's still very different with like the large minute hand and hour hand, coupled with like the entire case size and shape. This is amazing. So yeah, I'm gonna let him.
18 and 40 millimeters and rose gold. It's not Lange's honey gold. This is actually rose gold. The 1815 family has been around since 1994, and it had 2 revisions, one in 2005 and the latest in 2014. Now allow me to give you a quick rundown on the specs. What we have is a 40mm case, 9.5mm thick and 47.
See, I just recently got a 40mm watch, and that size sits really well on my wrist. I'm pretty sure my wrist last time I checked is about 6.5 inches, and as far as this goes too, yeah, it's phenomenal. And I mean, when you have that size of a watch on with this type of case shape to it, yeah, I think it just looks like great. It's like perfect. A lot of old school pilots watches though, from what I understand, were right around 45mm. And they did that so that way it was extremely legible to be able to read the dial and the numerals along with the hands on there. So that way pilots can quickly react and set the time. Now, this size though for the modern period, and from everything from dress clothes to wearing streetwear, I feel like this watch would actually, believe it or not, fit in with all of that. I think that this would look great with like t-shirt and jeans, I think it would look phenomenal with like a suit and tie. This is like someday going to be my go-to watch. Like this is nice. This could go anywhere, except for maybe into an ocean. But aside from that, like this watch is extremely versatile.
1.5mm lug-to-lug, cased in a fully polished rose gold case. Now, don't let the specs fool you. While traditionally I do prefer smaller cases, the pocket watch style of this piece makes the watch look superb at 40mm. Having the 47.5 compact lug-to-lug size gives it a very wearable size while giving the opportunity to be dressed down should you choose to do so. Pair this piece with a t-shirt and jeans and no one will look twice and wonder if it works.
Agreed.
The 40mm case and perhaps paired with a brown suede strap would dress down this piece quite nicely. The pocket watch style of this dial has a subtle railroad minute track at the edge with a...
You know, another watch too that does that too, in my humble opinion, is the Cartier Tank Must with the gold styling, even probably the stainless steel, and even the Cartier lines that have like longer watches. I think all of those look really good, and I think all of those would be phenomenal with like a t-shirt and jeans. If it's the smaller case shape, maybe not as much if it's steel, but I feel like gold can get away with more because of the simple fact that it's so rich that even if you have a smaller gold timepiece, it would look good with like casual outfits.
A slightly sunken in dial and sub-dial at the center as another nod to pocket watches of the past. Finally, you have one of the most beautiful heated blue alpha hands that pops whenever the light touches it.
Look at that, like look at the finish, the execution, like this is pure German engineering. You can just tell.
It's absolutely incredible to look at. Finally, the reason why most of us purchased a Lange in the first place, let's flip this over and take a closer look at the caliber powering this piece. But before we do so, allow me to share with you the pleasure of winding the 1815 through sound.
That's nice. Sounds better.
The work of art powering this piece is known as the caliber L051, a manual wind movement featuring a 3/4 plate made out of German silver. German silver isn't silver in fact, but instead an untreated white alloy made out of nickel, copper, and zinc. Lange stated that they used German silver for its beautiful golden hue and warm patina over time. Heated blue screws and purple jewels can be found to contrast the golden hue plate, giving the movement a little bit more color while not being overdone as in typical German fashion.
That's incredible. You know, that's about it. I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit.
It's still a great piece to wear as a daily. If you want the grail piece
Phenomenal.
that you can enjoy, make sure you check out the 1815 40mm in rose gold, although I will have a lot of Lange pieces to consider.
Really, I mean it. Like this is probably one of my favorite watches out there. This is nice.
So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any of it.
Well, that's it, everyone. Thank you for watching. Yeah, please subscribe to this person's videos too. Great work. It's the watch collection strategy. My name is Daniel, and please stay tuned for more of my content. Hit the thumbs up button and yeah, subscribe to my channel too. I'm new, but I plan on putting out a lot more videos. Thanks.